Welcome back to Big Breast TV. And on this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this watch, the Seiko Sarx075, and the rest of my watches. And so I went on a couple of trips, and I'm not the type to take multiple watches on trips. I don't see the need. I mean, I could pick whichever one works for the occasion. And on one of the trips, I had to wear a suit on a couple of days, and so I took this watch. I mean, my go anywhere, do anything watch. I mean, this performed really well, and I noticed something though. I don't know if it was going through TSA screening, security, or whatever, but I had an inkling that this might have gotten magnetized. Also, when I was messing with my RC cars, showing my son the magnets, the rare earth magnets that I use to hold the bodies onto the cars. I handed him one and I was doing something, and then he said, I wonder if it sticks to your watch. And he put one on the watch, I think somewhere around the bracelet, and it just clicked. And I said, no, and I moved my arm away, and I thought it might have gotten magnetized. And, he was definitely traumatized by the way I reacted, but it was okay. But when I first got this watch just about 5 months ago, I said that it was running 3 seconds fast when I had it in the dial-up position, and it lost time never more than 10 seconds in any other position. And so I guess that was enough if I wore it all day, which I did, wore it all day, and then at night, maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night, put it in the box over here in this spot. And when I woke up the next morning, it synced up with my SUR 307. Now I'm going to be using the Patty Smurf to sync up the watches. So if you can see here, they're really close. Let's see. Boom. Yeah. So I'm going to be using this. I woke up this morning and, well, when I got back from the last trip, I noticed all my watches had stopped. And what was crazy about, see, I'm jumping all around again. Back to this one. So I ended up opening up this watch and tooling around with the innards, if you will, of this watch. I probably should wipe it off a little bit. It was just on my wrist. But anyway, I messed around with it, and I even messed around with the beat error, the little knob or lever for the beat error. And a couple things I noticed. I noticed that when you try to adjust the watch for the seconds per day, when you're moving that little lever, it's also moving the beat error lever, at the same time. And so I just noticed something. Hang on. Okay, you let me know in the comments if you noticed what I noticed. But anyway, I noticed when you move the lever for adjusting the seconds per day, the speed of the watch, you're also moving that beat error lever a tiny bit. I believe they're touching each other. And so what happens is when you're swinging it back and forth more than just a little bit, the beat error will change. And so I'm going to do a disclaimer in this video so that many of my viewers that watch with the closed captions on, with the subtitles or what have you, it'll come through clear. Sometimes they just butcher the subtitles based on, I guess my accent, if I have an accent. I don't know. But I'm just going to say this. I'm not suggesting that you do this with your own watch. I wouldn't suggest opening your watch and getting in there and messing with anything. If you have any problems with the speed of your watch or the accuracy or anything like that. So, there, I said it. It's your fault if you go and open your watch. But anyway, I said I wasn't going to open my watches again when I broke the other model of this one. I had this SRPG 39, and I went in and tried to adjust it and hit the balance spring, and so I replaced it with this one. And so I swore I wouldn't do that again. And even my family was like, you're gonna open your most expensive watch? And I'm like, yeah. I just couldn't live with the fact that it was running behind every day. It got worse. So back to, yeah, see, the brain damage. Back to the impetus of me getting in there and opening it. It was just running slow every day, and I couldn't deal with the fact that it was just running 3 seconds fast to catch up. And so if I didn't leave this in the box and wear another watch, it would be slow. Even with the 70-hour power reserve or whatever, I would have to stop it, hack it, jump it forward a minute, and then hack it, and then start it over again. I would rather my watches run fast and then just be able to pull out the crown, wait, and then sync it that way. So anyway, I was able to do that. And in my mind, I was thinking while I was in there, man, I was getting flashbacks. So when I did this, when I put the, those gymnastics and the shenanigans that happened with that watch. I'll link that video if you haven't seen it. It's a good time, but very sweaty, good time. But I noticed what was going in my mind was don't touch this lever. And it was a picture with the arrow pointing to the lever for the beat error adjustment. Let's see if I could, you're not going to be able to see it, but yeah, maybe you will. Let's see. It's that second lever closest to the right on your screen. And so I started messing with it and I was able to get the beat error down to 0. So what I did was I adjusted the watch dial up in the position it would be in my box, because I do rotate my watches, even though I grab this one on a daily. And I was able to set this one where it runs fast. Let's just check it right now. I have my other beater watch phone charging up, so let's see if that's ready to go. Okay, it's saying that I have 19% battery, so let's see. I'm just gonna put this on my wrist, and this is what I usually do. I like the on wrist application, I guess you could say, of testing, because that's where the watch lives, on your wrist. So I'm just gonna put my arm here at a 90-degree angle and set this here and just hit the start. Whoa. Now, obviously, I can't hold my arm perfectly still, which is why you need something for it. And as you can see, as I speak, that snow increased. But the beat error is dropping, and so is the seconds per day. So it's running fast in this position, which would generally be the way it would be in my watch box. But let's see. Let's try to move my arm a little bit and see what happens. Let's start it again. Now, just with that slight tilt, look at the change. And then let's say if I was sitting down, I'm going to adjust the camera so that you can see this. Hang on. Okay, so let's see if I can get this right. All right, so now if I was, say, sitting down and start it at the 90 degrees. This is not by any means scientific, but let's see if I was to rotate my arm, sitting down position. I'm not even showing it. Let me try this again. Okay. 90-degree angle. Then rotate my arm like if I was sitting down. And then standing up, up. So anyway, hopefully you get the idea. The other thing that I noticed is that even though all of these watches have the same exact movement, that I want to say NH35 or NH36, which is the Seiko 4R35 or 4R36. It's been a while, you can tell, right? They all, I synced them up at the same time, and I wound them all about 35, 40 cranks each. And so this one, and these two. And they all stopped at different times. For instance, this one here stopped at about 9:40. This one here stopped at 8:10. This one here stopped at about 10:45. This one at 3 o'clock. I don't know what's up with that one. This one runs the fastest. And then this one at about 8:50, 51. So they all still work. And they all still work well. And they all stopped on the 5th. So if I just wind this one, this is the SRPJ17. And so this is what I normally do. I'll normally wind it until it hits 12. Well, it's a little after 12. And then I'll roll it through. So that was midnight. Then I'll roll it. And right now it is 9:24 a.m. So I'll get it at 9:25, let's say. And then when this one hits 9:25, I could probably go 9:24 to save some time. So I'll get it back to the 9:24. They suggest that when you're doing this, you go a little past the mark of where you want to be and then go back. So, and then at 9:24 on the nose with this watch, the Seiko SNE 575, I think it is, 573. I'll hit this, boom. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and do that with all the watches, and I won't bore you guys with that, and I'll be right back. So I have them all wound up and synced now, as you can see. And I'm gonna just do another check and see. I'm gonna come back in two days and see exactly what time each of these stopped. I'm gonna now try not to wear. You know what? That's gonna be tough, but I guess I could just wear this one. But anyway, getting back to this one and the fact that I opened it up. It took a few tries because these watches do settle. And what I mean by settling is the movement of the watch, not the thing inside movement, but you moving it, the movement of the watch. When you're doing the watch accuracy meter or whatever, when you move the watch, and of course it's it's reasonable to think that that balance spring is moving inside of the watch, and so it needs time to adjust to whatever position it rests at. And so, it would need time to settle down a bit. And I guess that's why guys do 4 or 5 runs when they're sitting to watch on the accuracy meter, when they're adjusting it or whatever, trying to regulate. But as for the fact that each of these watches with the 4R35 and the 4R36 is all stopped at a different time, even though there was maybe 1 or 2 minutes between me setting them and winding them each, it's probably, I know the 4R36s, they have the calendar, the date and the day. So that may account for a little bit more power being used for the movement, and so those should stop a little bit sooner. But these three with the 4R35s, only the date function, they shouldn't be stopping, and this has the 6R35. So those shouldn't be stopping, they should be stopping right around the same time every day, if not exactly the same time. But I'm guessing that has to do with the oils, or the lubricants inside, or the tolerances between the mechanisms when it was manufactured, the batch, whatever. I'm not sure. You guys let me know what you think. But yeah, I bought all of these watches right around the same time. Who knows if they were manufactured around the same time? I guess I could look at serial numbers and figure that out. But anyway, they do behave differently, and they're for the most part, machine made and assembled as far as the movement is concerned. So, if they're using the same machine and it's a robot and it's doing the exact same thing, I mean, it should be the exact same, shouldn't it? But, I use them the same when I wear them, especially the dress watches. What am I doing? Walking, sitting down, gesturing, waving, and those gentle movements. And so they haven't been subjected to any shock or anything. This one I did take camping, and I was kind of hoping to scratch the crystal when I was chopping wood and processing wood, so that I could have an excuse to change this to a sapphire double dome. But that thing is still kicking. And another thing that I noticed with this watch is that the loom, it lasted through the night. I mean, when you're out in the woods in pitch black at night with none of the noise from street lights, and you can see stars, you can really tell that the loom is working. And this, I heard and read about some guy saying that the loom lasted all night, and I'm like, yeah, your eyes do have to adjust a bit, but when you're waking up in the middle of the night to stoke the fire or whatever you're doing, this thing, from just being charged by the sun during the day, was just glowing. I'm gonna insert a picture. Maybe I don't know. The video quality would drop if I inserted pictures, but I'll try to insert something or whatever. Yeah, this thing was great. Even by wood fire light, it was glowing. And so everybody was suggesting that I take this one, and I actually had this one on right before I went out of the door and switched it, because the weather, I wasn't gonna get wet or anything, and I did use bug spray. It had the silicone strap on it. So anyway, so I got this one set up now so that it loses time at certain positions. I don't know how good that I captured that, but it loses time during the movement, but it gains time when I sit it down. And so it pretty much balances out. It's running about maybe 10 seconds fast a day if I sit it in my case overnight, which I can live with, because by the time a few hours pass by with me moving around or whatever, it evens out. And so it's never behind too much. And worst case scenario, I'll leave it in the box for 3 or 4 days, and it'll just be fast by 30 seconds or something like that, which totally I can live with. So you let me know what you like your watch's tolerances to be, and thanks for coming back. Thanks for hanging with me. No new watches for me at this point, but I've been taking time to just enjoy what I have. And so I say For those of you who love watches, you know, just enjoy. Take time out to enjoy your watches. It's not about the next biggest and best thing, but you know, it's about enjoying what you have. And this has been Big Briss TV. I appreciate all the love and support, and I hope all of you stay well. And I'll see you again soon. Big Briss out.